One. Hello, Star Wars players. Welcome to another exciting Star Wars CCG Holotheatre with queso sauce and Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, everybody.
And tonight, our special guest is design advocate Chris Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so tonight's sort of a special show for Holotheatre. We have the erratas that have kind of been promised to sort of fix the problem top four decks or so in the meta. We're going to reveal the errata that's going to be in place for Endor, and we can have Chris here to kind of answer questions. If you guys have questions about the stuff in chat, feel free to shout them out. We'll get them to Chris, and yeah, just sort of kind of a discussion about that. And then also, I kind of wanted to sort of announce. I said this sort of in the forums, but this will be our last like planned episode of Holotheatre with
Hmm.
the holidays and everything coming up. Everything is going to be kind of weird. So January will be
Yeah.
coming back in full force with Endor and new set 12, all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, and thanks for helping with the Twitch subscription initiative and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and don't forget, as we will be having the outer coming up in the next what is it, like a few weeks or something like that, Jerry?
yeah, the
Chris, you might be
Outrider
able to
Cup will
clarify
definitely
it.
be streaming the Outrider Cup games. I
Hmm.
know Gogolin will probably be doing some of those as well. So yeah, there'll still be coverage and still reasons to tune in. Gogolin, I think, will still be doing his show. But
Yeah.
for this sort of the interview show, it's definitely harder to get people to come on in the holidays. You
Mhm.
got people. Dan is actually traveling right now. He's in back in his hometown. So this is
Yeah.
a weird time of the year. I'm sure everybody else is kind of traveling and might not be able to watch us as consistently and stuff too. So we appreciate your
Yeah.
support
Well.
and all that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say. I think in the meantime, we'll try and have as much content as we can. Um, Also, I would say if anybody does want to like help out with the show, if you have any some swing and some miss stuff, just feel free to give us a buzz or anything.
Yeah, if you want
Uh,
to be on Holo Theater, we would love to have you. We do basically video interviews with anybody who wants to participate. So if you got something you want to say, you want a cool deck you want to talk about, hit us up. We'll have you on, and it'll be a good time. Oh, I see. Gornall just gave us a 11-month subscription. Thanks for that.
wow.
Bob from Colorado Springs area. He's a good friend of mine. So he actually kicked my butt in
Didn't
that
did,
Java
yeah,
Cup
I
game.
was gonna say he pretty much took you to the
Oh man, I
woodshed
went for
there.
the quick flip, and he had all the counters. Man, he had like Chewie Enraged and Jedi Presence, and that was good for him. He had a good deck there. I was putting him on more space
Yeah,
decks, so that's kind of when I went with IE. So I had him on like EBO. He had just played EBO at the local tournament month, so I was kind of thinking he was gonna
I was gonna
lean
say
into
didn't you,
that.
didn't you just so did he you said he played EBO at your local tournament. So wasn't the tournament that you came in like first or second at?
I was the one who won that one. Me and Bob split games. I beat him with my WAP deck, but he did get me with his EBO deck. I was playing Stunning
Oh,
Move
okay.
mains. That deck is pretty interesting. It was a fun deck.
Hmm.
Definitely trying to get
Yeah.
some life out of that. We used Jawa Cup format for our local tournament month, so it was kind of
Same.
a good way
Yeah, and
to.
actually, a lot of people did. I know. So SoCal, we decided to do that. Pittsburgh, they decided to go with the whole
They have their
their own little band
sort
list.
of Jawa Cup format, yeah, that we talked about.
Well, it's not. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, they went
Freed.
their own little route. So I don't know. I had a lot of fun with my local tournament. I went 2-2. I played know, just because I somewhat know the deck. And then
Okay.
for dark side, I ran the CCT mains that Bastion actually played against worse.
Oh yeah, I saw that on
So,
the
yeah.
in the stream. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Chris,
so
did
I
you
was like, "Hey, Bastion, this looks really fun, and it's a fun deck."
Chris, did you
I'll
get
tell
out
you
to a
what,
local
if you're
tournament?
looking for something.
Yeah, we didn't do a limited format, although I think those are pretty cool. I ended up playing the decks that I had built. I played Hiko, and then I played Invasion. I wanted to switch Invasion over to Asm to read in Matt Carulli's version. Didn't have time, and as I'm playing it, someone's like, "Do you have Newt in there?" And I was like, "I don't." So that deck didn't do so well. Didn't do so well, but it's fun. It was real shooting
Yeah,
stuff is fun.
yeah. Newt's really good. He's a really good card.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. He's an auto ad. I
surprisingly.
just didn't
Yeah,
have
he's
time to
clutch in
switch it
that
back.
Stunning Move mains deck that I was
Yeah.
building
Yeah,
because you have a lot of
yeah,
Trade Federation characters or whatever, and Being able to
Hmm.
get extra destinies with that guy was pretty fun. And canceling like Padme's game text or
Yeah, yeah,
Mothma's
yeah.
game text or something in space, it can definitely be pretty strong. So I definitely dig
Yeah,
Newt. I think that's Mike Pistone's virtual card. So
Yep.
yeah,
good job there,
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, I was
um,
gonna say I think we need to see more trade federation in the Separatists. So maybe let's get some Separatists in for invasion
Yeah, and Stunning Move can
or
definitely use
other
a
way
lot of
around.
those characters too. So I know that's a new deck that we're kind of trying to build
Yep.
up. So
Hmm.
maybe in set 12 we'll lean into that. So without
Yeah, we'll
further
see what Chris has.
without further ado, I think I'm going to kick it off here and start. Have kind of a slideshow here that will show all these errata cards. So, Chris, maybe before we get into it, like sort of, do you want to sort of give us the reason for the Legion here, like why this all sort of came to be as a design team, like how you came up with these erratas and what your general thought of
Yeah.
pushing the meta was?
So for over a year, we've been actually talking about what we have behind the scenes called a tweak set.
Okay.
We always will start designing cards and realize, well, this is very similar to a card that is already out but missed the mark and isn't very good. So we were always like, why don't we just change that card? But our community's not always been happy about change. A lot of people fear resets and reduxes and revolutions. So we've kind of always just pushed it back and said, when we get a clump of cards where we can just make them good, almost like an upward errata, not something where we're looking to scale things back because they got out of hand.
So yeah, usually erratas are kind of seen as like
A nerf.
like taking it, yeah, a nerf, a
Hmm.
good way to say it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So we
we
have
can
all
make
Yeah.
them
these
better. Yeah.
ideas to tweak things. So the plan originally was set 13 was going to be a tweak set where we take the cards that we really like but kind of missed the mark, and release those. And then there was some talk. I think Rops probably, to be honest, got a little out of hand. It almost got solved. Control decks tend to be able to be solvable
Hmm.
more often. So with that, there was talk about resets and revolutions, and I was like, whoa, 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 easy guys. So there's not going to be a reset. We're good. So we decided we'd flip flop the sets. So instead of set
Hmm.
12 being solo themed, we're going to make set 12 the tweak set. Along with that did come the fact that decks like Rops got solved. We thought, well, why don't we just downward tick the top four-ish decks, the decks that have been prevalent. We still want them to be good. We still
Hmm.
want them to be playable. And most importantly, we still want them to be fun. But when you have a big dog in the meta, that it's just autoplay. And I think we're seeing that. We saw that in the OCS. We kind of want to make sure that deck was taken back a notch so that other decks could breathe.
Hmm.
All right, cool. I like the sound of that. So we'll go ahead and kick it off here. We've got the first sort of reveal is the Raltier operations objective. This one doesn't look like a lot has changed, but basically just things have gotten kind of taken off of the ROPS objective.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll kind of show you the next one. Insignificant Rebellion is a virtual card that says if ROPS on table, it does the Battle Destiny exchange that the objective had on it, but now it's on an effect that you have to start. And then also has the code clearance does not modify Imperial's forfeit values text. So code clearance was kind of seen as a card that was getting a little too much attention. People were using it to just kind of get crazy high forfeits on like your Tarkins and your Mahdi's and guys like that.
Hmm.
So I definitely kind of like the code clearance nerf there. I also like that that card will only be seen if ROPS is on table. So if you want to use code clearance in like a different deck, you're kind of able to still. So I definitely like the way that one came out.
And it's actually kind of fitting that we brought back the insignificant rebellion because, I mean, that's how it was originally in
That's how it
Legacy.
was played
You
in
had
Legacy. Yeah.
to, and I mean, you're basically swapping code clearance for this new insignificant rebellion, which is good. And I noticed on the ROPS objective, it also got rid of the you pull a card, it flip, and if you flip back, put a card back.
Right.
What made you guys decide to do that, Chris? Because I mean, that seemed like it was.
You kind of broke up a little bit for me there, Dan. But I think basically what
I,
was the? I think you got it, Chris.
Yeah. So for all of these cards, trust us. We went through so many iterations and ideas, If you're thinking, why didn't you do this? Chances are we did consider it, and there was a reason that we didn't do it. But for the sake of brevity and why we chose this one, we thought that when ROPS was solved, the solving was you would get ridiculously high Imperial forfeits, both with code clearance and the prefix office site. If you put Expand the Empire on that, Tarkin's forfeit, I think, 35. And it's just outrageous to do that. So we wanted to limit that, and then it comes at the price of the exchange. If you want to keep code clearance, that's fine, but you don't get the exchange, which a lot of people felt was somewhat abusive. We
oh shoot! Sorry,
eliminated the hand.
My slideshow got a little out of hand there. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sure, no problem. We eliminated the hand upload when you flip and then back to use pile. Because that was another part of how ROPS got solved was you can flip turn 2 almost every single game with the setup of the same 3 effects, and you just upload GIC. And there's your GIC, there's your setup. What does light side do? They attack one site, okay, you GIC it. They have to grab the GIC if they want to have further interactions, and if they don't, you're safe for the rest of the game. So we didn't want that. We also felt that putting the swap text on an effect, it broke up those same standard three effect start, so it was no longer autoplay. It was no longer the same first turn. It hopefully gave the deck a little more variety.
Okay.
And then on the back side of the objective, the -1 force drains at their locations, is that a change as well? Or is that...
Yeah, a lot of people, myself included, hate taking control of Fondor and draining for 0.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem right. You're controlling their battleground system and you're doing nothing. So we wanted to tweak that as well.
All right.
So Chris, was the GIC pulling GIC one of the main reasons that you guys decided to take the pull a card once you flip? Or
yes. Yeah, because it gave you the auto setup. I mean, you flip, and you get GIC in hand. What's the light side going to do? They interact. Can they get 2 sites? If they can get 2 sites, great. But usually, it's hard for them to take 2 sites.
Right.
By so early in the game.
So then the next change that's ROPS oriented is the changing of Imperial Domination to Imperial Enforcement, and now it's a unique instead of a 2-dot card. And then, but basically, I feel like the text is pretty much the same. Is that correct?
Correct. Same exact text, except it's unique, so you can't do it twice.
So yeah, you can't do the 2 copies. I know a lot of decks, the ROPS decks were running 2. When I was playing ROPS, I always ran 2, and then often just ended up deploying 1 anyway, and just to sort of make sure that you got it early. But it could be pretty abusive late game to retrieve double Imperials and get especially in those match play games that we saw.
Yeah, we wanted to avoid the lock.
Yeah.
If you're set up, all you have to do is win a battle and you get 2 cards back. A lot of people do not like deploying the second domination. I know there were good players who would play 4 dominations so they could get 2 on the table real quick.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah,
it was part of on a control deck like that, allowing you to get cards back for doing what you are going to do anyway was a little problematic.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So those were kind of the overall changes to ROPS. So the sort of basically kind of moved text that was on the objective to a starting card. So now you have more choices in terms of like, okay, well, I have to start Insignificant Rebellion. I have to start like, Endor Shield to get that. It basically gives you more conflict in those starting effects, and
exactly.
I definitely like that. And then the code clearance kind of said, hey, let's not use code clearance in ROPS basically, if you're going to use Insignificant Rebellion, which is pretty good in ROPS, so you probably want to use that. So I like it. I think I like the ROPS changes overall. Some of the best that I got to see in these erratas so far. I feel like it's still going to be a competitive deck, but I feel like a lot of it's just more fair and a little bit slower and less reliable to set up. Like just like you said, that lock that you can just set up with that deck can be crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, ROPS when it was in Legacy was good, and this kind of reminds me a lot of the Legacy ROPS. So, I mean, I think we're still going to see people playing it. There's a lot of people who like it. So, yeah, I think this is a really good change.
Yeah. So the next one I have up on screen now is sort of the Old Allies changes that I kind of made a slide with 2 cards on it. So the Old Allies objective, the backside has been changed. And basically the text on that I never played a bunch of OA, but essentially the what the change is. Chris, do you want to explain it? Because I'm just not coming up with the words here.
Yeah, sure. This change is basically that if the dark side invades your sites, you can't reduce the
Right.
force loss
That's what-
from
yeah.
drains of your own locations.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I mean, that's going to make OA not turtle as much. I mean, we might see cards like It Could Be Worse. We might see cards like We're Doomed, but it's going to cause for more interactions instead of just a reduced drains type of a deck.
It was very control
Great.
lockout kind of deck for sure.
Yep.
And then the other sort of change that's geared towards OA is the Brave Resistance. The exchange card or exchange character for different character now has to be equal or lesser ability. So you can't change, a Rose for like a Poe or a Finn or a Leia or whatever. It has to sort of.
Well, I mean, I still think you can do Rose for Poe.
Rose for Poe's fine.
Rose-
Yeah, Rose for Poe, right. So
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
think that Poe is ability 3 for some reason. But he's not.
I don't know why he's not.
Well, he's not there yet. He'll get there.
Not there yet.
He hasn't passed Jedi test number 3.
That's fair.
So his ability has not been raised to a 3 yet.
That's fair.
But that's pretty much the change on Brave Resistance.
Yep.
To make it a little more fair, so that way you just don't have these extra copies of Rose that you're like, well, she's Destiny 5, and I want to go get a Leia, or I want to go get a Poe. I guess like I said, you can still get Poe. You can change it, and I feel like it's just going to make the deck be a little more fair for those exchanges. Maybe people will run more copies of Leia because she can get any of the characters, like Rey or Poe or Finn, but like extra copies of Rose aren't worth as much as they used to be.
Yeah, and I
I
think
still think. Go ahead, Chris.
I think these changes are really interesting because the OA change is probably my, I don't know about favorite, but most obvious change, most fair change that I think really I wish we just made the card like that to begin with. But the Brave Resistance probably was the hardest card to settle on as a whole. We agreed in some concepts and we agreed in others, but when we put them together, they were a bunch of different camps. So that was probably the hardest card to resolve. I personally like a Brave Resistance, but I don't like Rose. So there were other ideas to lower Rose's destiny. This is what we compromised on. This is what we settled on. I think it solves the problem. I never thought a Brave Resistance was a huge problem, although I see it can be a design constraint at some point. I don't think we're there yet. I think both the teams are really good.
Personally, like.
Dan kind of cut out there. I didn't hear. I heard you for a second, but all right. Yeah. So Dan is he's traveling. He's on a laptop that's not his usual setup that we have for Holotheatre. So do apologize for the. You Dan, you kind of skipped out there. Are you back?
Yeah, I think I'm back. You know what? Hold on. Give me. Let's do this. Jerry, I'm going to get off my computer, and so give me like 2 seconds.
Okay, you're going to switch to your phone. All right, so Dan's probably going to switch to his phone, as I'm guessing. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next one here. It's Senator Mon Mothma. All right, Dan now looks like he is on a mobile device.
Yep.
All right, that's coming through pretty good.
Okay, that's a lot better.
All right, so while you were gone, we just now put up the Senator Mon Mothma errata, and so she no longer deploys free aboard a capital starship.
Good.
I'm pretty sure that is the only change that I noticed when I was making that. Is that correct, Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was sort of the
No, that's good.
what was sort of the impetus for that? Just slowing down Diplo, slowing down some decks that kind of just use strike planning, plop her on something real quick.
Exactly. Diplo was the primary target.
Of course.
Diplo, I think, is a fair deck. It's a fun deck, but its free setup was something we were trying to scale back on a little bit. When we were looking at everything as a whole, it kept coming back to, and when we get to other changes, we'll talk about it too, how free stuff is generally not great for the tempo of the game. Diplo should probably be a little bit of a slower deck thematically, so we want to just to slow it down a notch without messing with the components.
Okay, that's fair. Um, Someone in the chat says, "Was that really necessary?" Are you talking? I guess that's probably referring to the Mon Mothma errata. So, I mean, Chris just pretty much explained it right there. So,
if you're asking me, I would say yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Sure, but reasonable people can and will differ. Sure.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I like it. She still deploys -1, so she goes for 2. So, like, that's if 2 force is the difference between you having this card and not having this card. I think people are still going to play her because she pulls a system that has really great game text. So I think this one works for me. This one seems like kind of just a no-brainer, easy.
I don't know, like it kind of still does slow down Diplo a little bit, and Diplo's already kind of a slow deck.
Yeah, but I feel like that speed Diplo where like you go with the Falcon and whatever and you transfer you can set that up turn 1 really quick, but maybe you can't anymore with having to pay 2 for Mothma.
You can still do,
and then having to get the system that way, because if she goes free, you get the system for free basically. But if you have to, it's basically pay 2 to upload Chandrila is what
I was going to say. What about?
Into.
I mean, you could have always we could always change your game text to she still deploys for free, but then you pay for the Chandrila. I mean,
okay.
I think either way it's still fine, but yeah, I think with the speed Diplo, I mean, you could still do the speed Diplo because you don't need her out.
But you have to get the other system out for. I guess no, maybe not, because he goes to Alderaan.
No,
you
right. Don't.
So
yeah, you could go Lando and the Falcon, move the Falcon for free, and then you move back for 1. So
right.
I think you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 for yourself. So yeah, you can, as long as the dark
R2
side
gets you another one
you,
if you start the speed Diplo always goes with the R2 D2V that gets you an extra icon.
Yeah.
That way, but yeah.
I mean,
I like this one.
It's giving you 5 right there.
Fine.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. It just depends on which way you're going. I think we might see more of the speed Diplo, which I don't like, but we'll see. People will adapt.
Yeah. All right. So the next one. These ones, I guess, are the map-related slides. The FD-11D blaster rifle and the First Order Stormtrooper. So the Stormtrooper was changed. It's deploy -1 to the same site as First Order leader, and then opponent's characters here are cumulatively defense value -1 to a limit of 3. So the change on that was.
I think the stream is broken.
It's broken?
Yeah, over in chat they're talking about the stream not working.
Interesting. Well, we have a backup recording, so we can always we'll have it uploaded later. Doesn't seem to be. Yeah, it seems like I'm dropping a few frames. My wife just got home from work, so maybe her internet started doing something weird. I'll look into it, but does not. Yeah, it says I'm dropping like 11% of frames. I've had worse. So sorry if it's a little choppy, but we're just gonna plow on through. Like I said, we'll upload it for later watching, and that'll be fine. So Gary, Chris, you were saying about the for the map deck, strategic reserves. That card is blanked. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
And then
no more strategic reserves.
Okay. Yeah, people are saying in chat if you refresh, maybe it'll work a little better for you. I went too far. And then the blaster rifle and the trooper. So what were the reasonings behind changing these cards?
I think most importantly with map, it's a fast damage deck, which we like, which we wanted to keep. We like the idea of the First Order storming Jakku and just decimating them. Okay. That thematically is very cool. The problem is that map set up a lot of damage quickly. And then once it's set up, it could stabilize and then control the entire tempo of the game by canceling force drains. It would force interaction towards map, which is okay generally. And then map could just clown stomp it with these trooper beats. And it's not like the scenario where a lot of decks can get off 1 beat and be good. Map can probably get off 2 really decent beatdowns fairly quickly. So I think strategic reserves, blanking that is a huge step towards interaction. You can now get your drains to go through, especially something like YOPS, which needs that drain to get its engine going.
Right.
That should be a little bit better. And then we wanted to control the stormtroopers. We still want them to be fast. We still want them to be good. But again, like I said with Mon Mothma, free is generally problematic. So make them a little bit cheaper. But they're essentially power 5 at the village with Trooper Assault and the village tax. So deploying someone for free that's power 5 could get a little hairy. And then as far as the gun, we like the troopers being good with guns, although the movie doesn't always pan it out. And usually, when in doubt, a +2 modifier, if it can be a +1 modifier, probably should be. So we changed the 2 to a 1, but kept the defense value modification on the trooper himself.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's still kind of funny that the First Order troopers are a lot better than the regular stormtroopers. But, I mean, I like, personally, I really was surprised that Strategic Reserves was blanked. I mean, I know we removed it from Hux, so that was a good start. Then we made it so only non-uniques could go, which was even better. Now there's even blanked. It's a little bit more interesting. I haven't seen a lot of run the Strategic Reserves just because we changed it so much. So, I mean, so was that a card that has seen a lot of issues, especially in the OCS, especially at Worlds and stuff?
Yeah, and we disagreed on this too, behind the scenes. But I mean, I played a lot of map, and I can tell you, I always felt secure knowing that if they tried to drain race me, I could cancel the biggest drain. So like I said, something like YOPS that needs a drain to go through to do anything, or even like something like Hiko. If you're doing the prophecy dance, you're never going to get the prophecy back at your site when they keep canceling.
It. Yeah.
So to give a deck so much early damage and then also let it control in the drain race, just didn't seem very fair. So I know I said I thought the OA change was probably the most fair. If I could only have 2 changes, it would have been strategic being blanked and then the OA change.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one. So yeah, that was just sort of a summary of the map erratas. We blanked Strategic Reserves and the errata to those 2 cards. This one is a big one that I think we've known about for a little while now, the Like My Father Before Me change. So the change to that one is basically now you can play this card only if your Endor site is on table. So there is good in him. He is the chosen one. They'll be able to start this card, but Throne Room.
Don't forget about Rebel Strike Team.
Rebel Strike Team. Endor CPV, if that's a thing. I don't know. They'll all be able to start Like My Father Before Me, but Throne Room, they will not be able to start. And Watch Your Step, I guess, will be affected by this as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, Chris, this is your card. So
is that true?
I feel like I've heard that once or twice. I don't know. So why don't you just go ahead and let us hear it?
Yeah, sure. So right after the MPC, we were pretty much all in agreement. We were happy with a lot of things. It was brought up. We probably didn't want this card in Throne Room. In Throne Room, it probably was a little oppressive to some of the decks that we did like. So I think I would say 90% of us wanted it out of Throne Room. So there was initially a version of it that just flat out said lost if Masasi Throne Room on table.
Okay.
But then as we dug a little deeper, we almost made it thematic. This text actually isn't even the brainchild of anyone on D&D. I try to talk to as many people as possible at events, and that the person wants to out themselves, they're more than welcome to. But in talking with someone, they gave this idea, and I love it. It's thematic, and everyone knows I'm a sucker for theme. And I think it represents the final chapter of Return of the Jedi, where Luke does his thing.
Right.
So the main debate was keep it out of Throne Room. I think we all agreed on, and then how to implement that. Watch Your Step. Thematically, everyone on D&D agrees it shouldn't be there. But Star Wars CCG thematically, it's just something that's always been. It's something that Jedi Luke has been in Watch Your Step since Reflections 2.
Right.
So it didn't seem out of place for that. So that was probably the hardest casualty for us to swallow. And then there's also some talk of just making it only playable, and he is the chosen one. That way we could control that. This is where we landed. In talking with some people, they're still going to run it in Throne Room just by playing Endor sites, and I think we're fine with that because
Could be
then
like
Throne Room's
Shield
putting
is
a
down,
battleground.
Throne Room. So I
Yep.
played a version of that a few years
Yeah.
ago. When that card first came out, and it was
Mhm.
fun. You could pull some Endor sites. You'd have to float. You like My Father Before Me, and then maybe will it still have the Death Star 2 icon so you could like use Insight to pick it up out of your reserve deck or something?
The card has actually never had the Death Star 2 icon,
Okay.
so it's not pullable that way. But like you're saying, Shield is down, Throne Room is a really fun deck.
Right.
I start Cytor. I'm not going to start like my father in that because I'm going to get the back door and I'm going to drop Jedi Luke for 5.
Luke for 5,
with
right.
Cytor
Right.
and Anakin's lightsaber, which deploys also on the crazy good Rey. I'm going to give myself that flexibility. So I really view that if you're playing Throne Room, this isn't the card for you. But nevertheless, if you still want to, I think you're watering your deck down in a deck that thrives on efficiency and the early strike.
Okay, that's fair. I like
I
it.
don't know, like
Oh, and one other thing that was changed, which I actually was a big proponent of, it doesn't let you get his saber and put the card in your force pile on the same turn. That's actually how I kind of wanted it originally. I didn't like you being able to fast deploy everything and battle. I've always envisioned 6 as being the magic number to get Vader out and hunt down first turn, and I thought that would be the way it should be with Luke. To get the 6 out and then also be able to get yourself a force to battle with his saber, I always kind of thought was a little wonky. So that's a change I'm actually I personally.
If you want to go super fast with like a first turn, you either have to have a lucky opening hand and get the lightsaber in your opening hand, or you'll have to come up with another way to battle for free or activate an extra force. All right.
No, I was gonna say I actually like this card out of Watch Your Step. I want to see more smuggler type of Watch Your Step, more
Space Luke.
Space Luke. Honestly, like I saw really, and this was at my SoCal local recently. Stubbly, I think his name's, I forget his name, but he's Stubbly on Gab. He ran a version of Watch Your Step. Yeah, he ran a really good Watch Your Step that ran Red 5 virtual with Rebels Hope leader, Rebels, the virtual Luke.
The Rebellion's Hope Luke?
Yeah, the Rebellion's Hope Luke, and it was really good. I'm not going to tell you what he ran because he told me to keep it secret if he goes to Endor. But it was a really, really fun, really good deck, and it's actually did a lot of things that surprised me. So, and I'm actually like, I would love to look at it and tweak it myself, but
he's got it under lock and key.
Yeah, it's pretty much under lock and key at this point. But yeah,
that's cool.
It looked like it was really fun, and I would love to go back to those. I mean, why not use Luke with lightsaber, and then you could get the Jedi's Resilience to put him back in your hand. Oh wait, then you could play the Jedi's Resilience after you lose it, stuff like that. I mean,
it'd be pretty cool.
It's fun. Even the new Luke, even the Jedi Master Luke, really good in Watch Your Step.
Oh, yeah, he could be crazy good to hold the Cantina.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm a little surprised though that you made all these changes to your card, Chris. I mean, how do you feel about not throwing your Jedi Lukes in Throne Room anymore?
There's some misconception that I've actually been guarding this card or ensuring it doesn't change. I've actually wanted to change it for some time. I'm very okay with the changes. If I was design king rather than design advocate, I would have done something different. I probably would have just struck it from Throne Room because although you are right, Dan, it is cool to have Luke Watch Your Step be more smuggler centric. Removing this card from Watch Your Step doesn't make Watch Your Step more smuggler centric. It makes it less playable. So we're not going to see these cool Watch Your Step decks that we want to see. We're just going to see less Watch Your Step. Over time, we can certainly make Watch Your Step into that, but I never Star Wars CCG thematically. I never didn't like Jedi Luke and Watch Your Step because he's always been there. So if I was design Emperor, I would have just struck it from Throne Room. It was, as we made more cards, it was oppressive in Throne Room. It should have been stricken from Throne Room, probably a few sets ago.
So
But
you
yeah,
think
I've been okay with the change. Yeah.
do you think we're going to see less throne room now, or do you think people are just going to adapt?
Great question. I'm excited to find out the answer. My own personal thoughts is the people like me that like to play aggressive, fun main characters are going to just play Hitco. And Hitco is a more fair deck because it doesn't go first. It puts out a battleground. And those are key tenets that are inconsistent with Throne Room.
Well, and Throne Room existed before, like my father before me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I mean, like people would just play EPP Luke. Like EPP
Yep.
Luke is really good. Like with, like you said, 3 AJRs and like 2 EPP Qui-Gons, 2 EPP Lukes, 2 EPP Obis. That was TRM for like a decade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think people
Yes,
will adapt and make
absolutely
it work.
agree. Yeah. So I think we'll see a little less Throne Room, but I don't think Throne Room's going anywhere. You get to go first. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So no more decks with 30 Jedi Lukes for Chris Kelly for a while.
At least.
Combat's still out there. I don't
That's
know.
right. There you go. Well, you want R2D2 in Red
Yeah,
5.
I was gonna say,
for
yeah,
That's true.
combat.
That's
Yeah, that's
That's
the
true.
7. 7s are better than 6s.
Sometimes, unless you're sensing something. Okay, so I think, let's see, did we cover everything that you sent me? I think we did.
So, do you want to give us anything else for this tweak set, or
Yeah.
are we looking at any other cards for Endor, or come on, give us
Yeah,
something.
so
I mean,
I guess at the
I know
risk
we're
of
looking at all these erratas.
Menzel
Give us something
yelling at
new.
me, and I apologize to him. I didn't talk to him about this spoiler. So these are for you, and if I get in trouble for this, you guys better have it back.
We got your back.
Thank you.
And there's 10 people in chat who got your back too.
I was gonna say I
Thank
got your back as I push you on the bus.
These changes are going to be obviously in place for Endor. We have a bunch of volunteers behind the scenes, making sure that they're PDF'd, that they're proofed, and
We were wondering also about Outrider Cup for the legality. What's the story there?
That is more likely a Chris Schoenthal and or Matt Carulli question. Obviously, if they're not programmed into GEMP, they're not legal.
Of course.
I do know Matt has done an incredible job of getting the GEMP team on board behind the scenes before things drop, so things might be closer to being in GEMP than we normally would expect. Outrider Cup starts, December?
Yeah, soon. Yeah. I don't know the
So
exact dates, but yeah.
I would not be surprised if they are legal for Outrider Cup, but just the same, whatever
Don't know
the
for sure.
GEMP feature allows and what Chris Schoenthal decides and Chris Goglin decide. I know Team USA will be ready.
Because I know we've had a lot more GEMP playtesting going on lately. That seems to have been picked up. I think we had it a long time ago, and then it sort of went away with the transition from Troy to the new GEMP team. But now it seems like the new GEMP team has got it figured out again. Has the erratas been tested, thoroughly on GEMP, and how has that sort of made things easier for you guys?
Yeah, I'm really thankful that you brought that up because playtesting is back on GEMP. Enormous thank you to Hayes, who's the new playtesting coordinator, as well as the GEMP team, especially Jeremy has been a beast, and a bunch of other people programming it into GEMP. So these erratas have been tested through GEMP, as well as some tweak cards, which a few will be legal for Endor once we make a final determination. As soon as we do, we'll let everyone know. But we're still sorting through that. But playtesting on GEMP has been phenomenal, so I thank you to the playtesters.
Right on. Shout out to the playtesters. It's always good to get. Like I said, the GEMP just seems so natural to have that playtesting ability, and
Of course, yeah.
as long as it's
So-
easy to change the cards and everything. So
Yeah. So, Chris, you had said that so originally was set 12. You guys were thinking about a solo set. So,
Yeah.
Any ideas when set 13 or solo set is going to drop or anything?
Let's let 12 go first.
Hey,
Um,
you brought up solo, so I'm just asking.
I think that
you
might have been
to-
before we went
to give-
live, by the way, Dan.
No, we were live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, we were
So-
live.
I'll take your word
The
for it.
plan is this errata will be in place for Endor, and also between 4 to 6 preview cards of the tweak set will be in place for Endor.
And do you have an estimation on card numbers for the tweak set? 20 cards, 30 cards, 800 cards?
Let's ask you, because there's a way we can do it confined and pretty tight, and there's a way we can just blow everything open. You guys tell me, you two, and then the viewers at home. I mean, what are your expectations? There's a lot of borderline cards that could be bumped up a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
Let's blow it open.
I think.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah, I
20,
think
20. Let's do it.
I think like 25 cards for each side would be pretty neat. Like you said, there's
That's
a lot
huge.
of it's a huge set for us for sure. But like you said, we already have if 18 of the 25 cards for each set are sort of pump ups of the other cards, you're not going to have to redo all that. It's basically just going to be like, oh, like a card. I think someone mentioned a card like for luck for light side virtual.
Yep.
Like if you just add something else, because that card had. Give it something like once per game, download a location or something. I don't know. Give it a way to be a more startable effect than it currently is. Like you already have half of that card designed. You just got to make sure that something like that isn't overpowering. So if you do that for a dozen of the cards in each set on each side, then you can get up to those numbers.
You know what? I would like to see people in the chat say, okay, here are some 10 cards that are sitting around in my collection that I would love to play if they were tweaked in some way. Like personally, we have a Mon Calamari Shipyards that has a beautiful image on it, but I've never seen anybody play it.
I played it in a crazy no idea deck. The Mon Cal Dockyards, is that the card you're talking about?
Yeah, okay, so your crazy decks don't count.
People seem to like my new WAP deck, so I'm very excited about that.
You know what? I like your new WAP deck. If I actually didn't have to sit down and actually build decks, I would have played your WAP deck SoCal local.
Because I think Ryan Saracen played it, and someone else hit me up on Facebook. They needed the list for it, so apparently I made a deck that people like.
Dan, actually, it's funny you brought up Mon Cal Dockyards. And I hope Matt's not mad at me for saying this. If he is, I'm sorry. Way back sets ago, before I was anyone, I asked Matt if we could redo Mon Cal Dockyards because it's such a cool idea. It's just not playable. And with a small tweak, it could be. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of what started the ball rolling and everyone thinking about, well, let's just tweak it. Let's just make it a little better. So it's interesting you brought up that card because that's probably the card that started the whole tweak set idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I'm just thinking, literally,
your insight serves you well.
We have a great image for that card, and I don't know where we got it. I mean, that was a legacy image that, for me, it's one of the more beautiful cards that we have. But I've never seen anybody have it in a deck because you can't use it, and that's a knock on a card that is just so nice. It's so.
You can use it in.
Jedi Chair in the chat.
Jedi Chair is in the chat. Good to see you, Jeremy.
Oh my gosh! Exciting! Exciting.
Good to see you, buddy. No, but I mean, so you play No Idea, and you start Mon Calamari Dockyards, and then you just run like 5 copies of R2D2 non-virtual, and you put the Stardust on him with like a Baragwin there, and then like 8 fire extinguishers, and then you have Mon Cal Dockyards, and you just run ships everywhere. That's the crazy No Idea deck. It's super fun.
Liberty with Mon Cal Dockyards is amazing.
And the No Idea thing where you just pull it every turn.
Yep.
So,
love it.
Yeah, play that deck. It's super fun. All right. So let's see. We wrapped up the erratas. Sorry we didn't do our little swing and a miss game that we usually do. This show was kind of slapped together at the last minute with Dan's travel plans and stuff. So I think that's probably about.
Plus, we got word.
We got what?
I was gonna say, we got word that we're allowed to talk about the erratas coming out. So
that was
fun.
Think
that's like the big news. Honestly, like as soon as we get more information on this new errata or tweak set, I'd love to have a special, at least going over all the cards again. Maybe possibly have rough images. We'll talk to graphics and everything. But,
so with Endor being in like the 3rd week of January, do you expect like you said, the preview set and like the V slips for everything to be out by like New Year's, give or take?
As long as no one's watching this and you don't tell anyone, the internal date is December 6th.
Oh, so that's just like a couple weeks out.
Good.
Yes. So the December 6th for everything to be finalized and ready, understanding that it's hard to get everything PDF'd and proved and in GEMP and everything. So our
It is.
goal is to be able to tell the entire
Simultaneously.
community, this is the final stuff. Unless someone points out something crazy broken, this is it. And then hopefully as soon thereafter to have it PDF'd. Certainly before Christmas, we'd like everything PDF'd and GEMP. Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. That'd be good. So yeah, people can get their playtesting games in with all their alternate
Yeah.
accounts for Endor.
And if you really want to get your playtesting games in, join playtesting. It makes you a better player. You're playing in the meta that will exist, and you're helping the PC out. And
it's
we listen to
open.
playtesters.
It's open to everybody, right? I mean, we're not turning anybody
Yeah.
away. I know a lot back in the day. It was sort of like you got to know somebody who knows somebody who gave $5 to Scott, and then you got into playtesting. But now it's a little more just like.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I want to know what Scott is up to. I miss that guy.
I'm
Has anybody heard
sure.
from him?
I'm sure he's doing something very important. I'm sure we'll
And
see
also
him.
just the same, like I was talking about with the
At
Luke
the
effect. Just talking to people, we do listen to you. That game text didn't come from someone in D&D. So again, if he wants to out himself, he can. But we do listen, and when someone has a great idea, I will steal it so quickly.
Yes.
So
yes,
just
I know you have.
talk
You
about the
stole my
game,
idea
enjoy
for
the
mall
game,
effect.
and it'll go places.
He says you
my
stole.
idea for the mall effect.
What did I do?
He says you
You
stole
my
the
for
idea
the mall effect.
for the Darth Maul effect.
You know who I stole the idea for the Darth Maul effect from?
Me.
The guy who made the Luke effect. That guy. I stole that.
no.
I stole the Maul effect idea from him, and I stole the
No.
Vader effect idea from him
You
too.
and I and Brian Fred were talking at Worlds, and we were talking about a mall effect. And I go,
Yeah.
why don't you make it so he can go and attack, or he can move and try and assassinate, like make him into an assassinator? Like
If I had my way, all of the mains would have their own like effect that they can rely on. I love that concept. If you have a favorite character, you should let him thrive in this game because that's what the game
What
is
about
about.
a solo? We need a solo smuggler effect then.
But along the idea of the mall effect, it's a good idea, but just wasn't executed properly and doesn't see that much play. It almost seems like a really good idea for a weak card, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like as cool as the like once per game may move to the place where a Jedi is text, it's just not functionally like that useful. Like, especially the way the light side meta is currently played. Like, because I'm just gonna move my lone Maul all by himself in front of your stacked Jedi Luke with his bionic hand, and like, no, I'm not gonna be doing that. So like as good as Maul is, he's not impervious to everything. So
agreed. And so the idea is cool. The execution wasn't perfect. Maybe that could see a tweak so that more people would play.
I play the shit out of the Maul card. Do I just play all the cards that need to get tweaked because I'm like ahead of the game, or am I just a bad player?
You're ahead of the curve, man. You are
Thank you, Chris. Dan would not agree with you.
I said both.
Okay.
I said both.
Porque no los dos. I like it. All right, boys, we're pressing up against an hour here, so I think we're about ready to sign off for the night. Dan, thanks for making time during your vacation to be on our episode here. Chris, it was awesome getting to talk to you about all the erratas and all that stuff, and I hope everybody watching, you enjoyed everything that Chris had to say about the changes, why they happened, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. I know this is the last show of the new year. You guys did awesome, and I'm really looking forward to what you guys have in 2020. It'll be great.
Yeah, Dan and I definitely got together and started this, up again this year, and I think we got better pretty much every week. So we'll take that momentum into next year after the holidays and get started with some really good coverage for Endor and all the new cards and stuff. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
keep your subscriptions in and.
I was going to say, if you want better content and everything, easily just help us out. Let us know what you want. For me, I know beer helps, so send beer. Queso, it helps him too.
Yeah, I got one right here. This was actually given to me by Tech Terror. He's a Star Wars player. You might know him from GEMP or the forums. He works for New Belgium's. Ooh, nice. That looks tasty. Looks like an Arnold Palmer almost.
It is an Arnold Palmer.
Oh, okay. I knew it. That's what I said. All right. Thanks again, guys. We'll sign off for now. May the Force be with you, and have a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and all that good stuff.